Have you ever felt like you're living the same day over and over and over again? You know, like you're wanting to do more in life, succeed more in life, and you might even be putting up this fake version of yourself to hide the fact that you're unconfident, unhappy, or possibly even scared. Everything you see in this photo is fake. Fake confidence. I had social anxiety. I hated my 9-to-5 job.
I'm fucking here, dude. Fuck.
And I bought a Corvette to hide my insecurities because I used to chase approval from others. Everything about me 3 years ago was completely fake. And now I'm a completely different person. Zero social anxiety, which, thank the Lord. Full, complete confidence in who I am as a person. And now I'm running my business. So by watching this video, it's going to give you an idea about how to get your life moving forward. And if you have a bunch of hidden insecurities, this video is going to show you how to grow from that and show you how to become the person you want to be in life. Something like becoming rich, becoming super fit and healthy, or finding love. So the question becomes, how do you grow as a person to get all of that in life? What steps do you have to take? So I've invested all of my money for the past 3 years into self-improvement programs and courses. We always hear people talking about the best thing to do with your money is to self-invest it into yourself. But how do you actually do that? Like, what does that even look like? People self-invest for different reasons, but it usually comes down to 3 things: getting perfect health, finding love, or making money. And I think it's safe to say that we all want to become that 1% top guy that all girls admire, that other men aspire to be like. A leader, a provider, a man that your family can look up to. And if you don't, you're fucking lying to yourself because it's in your biology. So the whole reason for this video is to help you decide whether or not you should start self-investing into yourself. Because trust me, I know how it feels when life is not moving forward. I know how it feels to put up this fake version of who you really are, to always feel judged, to not be who you could be. It sucks. So by the time this video ends, you should have an idea of what you need to do to start succeeding in your own life. So growing up, I knew I always wanted to be successful. Like there was this internal feeling, this internal flame that I was meant for more. Like the only way that I would die peacefully is knowing that I became my best self. And I still feel like this. And back then, what it meant to become the best version of me was becoming a fucking millionaire, having a godlike physique, being famous, and weirdly enough, becoming like this professional Spartan-like fighter. Maybe I watched the movie 300 way too many times, but that was me. And when I was younger, the only way I knew how to start going towards that journey on becoming the best version of me was by working out. Because my dad worked out, so he kind of planted that seed in me. And there's a point to this story, so just stick around. So he planted that seed in me, right? So working out came naturally. So I took working out and I fucking ran with it for 10 years. I mean, this is me now. So obtaining that physique has also led me to achieving 1 million followers across all social media platforms. So I kind of destroyed 2 birds with 1 stone kind of thing. Got a little famous, obtained a godlike physique. Those things came naturally. But there was one thing that did not come naturally, and that's making money.
I'm talking about this.
I never grew up with anybody making a bunch of money, like millionaire money, like Ferrari money, like spend $1,000 in a couple hours kind of money. I was never taught how a business works. I was never taught how to run a business. I mean, shit, I didn't even think that people who ran businesses were real. They were almost like unicorns or something. I mean, it never even crossed my mind that I can be an entrepreneur one day. So I started working normal 9-to-5 jobs from about 16 to 22, 23-ish. Working at Taco Bell, washing cars. I actually got this nice scar from washing cars. To eventually landing a really good job in aerospace as an aerospace mechanic. And in my city, that's actually considered one of the better jobs out here. I mean, my life was set. Like, I could afford living on my own. I bought a Corvette. Like, I was cool. But I was extremely unhappy. Maybe I'm being ungrateful, but I fucking hated working a 9-to-5 job. And each day that passed, it got worse and worse and worse, to the point where my soul felt like it was disappearing. And who I was as a person, that loving, caring, outgoing person, started becoming like flat and boring And I felt like an NPC, I guess you could describe it. Like I felt like I was in the rat race, becoming like everyone else. And I remember my mind would race when I was at work. I would ask people, why do you care so much about this job? Why are you letting the stress from work get to you so bad? Why are you being voluntold to do overtime by your boss when you said you don't need the money and you don't want to do it? Don't you feel like your life is flying right past you? You're telling me you want to work another 50 fucking years in this place? Like, it gets me so frustrated because nobody understood where I was coming from, and it made me feel like I was the crazy one because I had these thoughts every single day and nobody else understood. At least not to the point where I understood. Like, I'd be thinking, damn, I have to work here for another 50 fucking years and I can barely get through another 10-hour shift. And when you're working and you hate your job and you're looking at the clock every single day, watching every minute pass, 10 hours feels like 3 fucking days. Now, luckily, I had a best friend who ended up quitting that same job because he told me he'd rather be broke if he didn't succeed in business, because he wanted to start his own business, than be unhappy at his 9-to-5 job. His happiness meant more to him than his ego. And after hearing that and after seeing that it's possible to have a different kind of life, that completely shifted my mind. I was like in fucking shock when I seen that happen. So what did I do? Not too long after that, I quit. And that's when unhappiness from working a 9-to-5 job instantly changed to being scared out of my fucking mind, because I knew I had to learn how to run a business fast, and I did not know a fucking clue on how to do that. So let's take a quick break from that story. So I'm telling you this story because I want you to realize that there's a way out. You can be happy. You don't have to be sad, depressed, or unconfident anymore. You can do something about it, and you're not alone. And yes, it is 100% okay to be scared out of your fucking mind, especially when you're trying something new and you've never done anything like this before. And the scariest thing about it is nobody's gonna support you. Nobody believes in you. People become disappointed in you. People become distant from you. That part's hard. And you have to prove you can do it under all of that pressure. At first it feels like it's you versus the world, but in reality it's really just you versus you. So let's get back to the story. So I'm scared out of my mind. No money's coming in. I just quit my job. I had to learn how to run a business. And I also had one huge problem. I had extreme social anxiety. And let me tell you, that is not good for business. Like, that's possibly the worst fucking thing you can have for business. I had zero leadership skills. I mean, shit, I barely even knew how to open up a Google Doc and save it to my computer. Like, I had no skills. On top of that, I was battling feelings like I'm never ever good enough for anything or anybody because I had horrible self-confidence. So I know I needed to do something fast because the longer I waited, the more money I was losing. I was a sinking ship. Something had to change, and that's what led me to buying my first coaching program. I put aside my fake confidence. I understood that I wasn't shit. I sold my Corvette. I used that money for a camera, a laptop, and I used the rest of the money to invest it into the coaching program. Because, I mean, shit, something had to change. I had to do something. It didn't matter what it was. It didn't matter what that step was. I had to do something to get out of the sinking ship situation that I was in. And you know what's crazy is, like, I feel all these emotions like building up just talking about this because I remember how hard it felt, and I'm getting frustrated as I kind of keep talking about it. So I figured back then, I'm 22, 23, I have an amazing physique, I have a little bit of a following, I've won a few natural bodybuilding shows, I have the credibility. Let me show other people how to change their physiques so they can get something that, you know, a lot of people want. You know, that's business, that's value, people want that. So back to my first mentor, my first coaching program that I invested in, it taught me everything. It taught me about metabolism and hormones and how to get people to actually lose fat, how to build muscle, cortisol, everything. And that probably wasn't the best thing I should have invested in, but I don't know. I don't fucking know what to do. I'm walking around in the dark. No one's taught me shit. What step do I take? I just made a move, but it did teach me a lot. So now that I've built up this newfound knowledge from this course, there was still a problem. I didn't know how to sell. I didn't know how to market. I still have social anxiety. I don't know what to do on a sales call. I don't know how to write things to make it compelling to persuade people to buy programs. But I think the biggest thing was that social anxiety, because it got to the point where I was afraid of how I came across to my own family. Like, that's how self-conscious I was about myself. That's how much social anxiety I had. So imagine if I was talking to a person I didn't know. Imagine how undervalued I made myself when talking to another person. And mind you, I still had this kind of a physique when I felt that way, and I still had a few 100,000 followers, which in a lot of people's minds, they'd be like, why the fuck are you so not confident? And little side note, that just goes to show you that confidence isn't made externally in what you build and what you have. It comes from you internally. Anyways, that's how fucked up I was, but I did manage to pull off a couple sales and got them results, and I made a few thousand from that. And I took that little money that I had and I put it right back into self-investing and buying more programs because I obviously needed some kind of help. I mean, there was one point where I blew out all of my credit card money because I know something needed to change. And you know what's crazy? The salesman who sold me those programs helped me have a mind shift change because I wasn't gonna buy the programs because it was like $20,000, $30,000, you know. But he helped me overcome that, and yeah, I was sold, but my mindset changed forever. He helped me understood that I can stay in the same situation that I'm at now and not spend the money, or I could spend the money, change my situation, and make more money. That's an easy fucking answer. That's an easy fucking choice to make. By the way, here's all the investments that I've made, at least the ones that I can remember. These are like the biggest ones. Health and nutrition, which was the first one, 10K. Fitness business coach, 10K. Business systems and operation coach, 30K. Sales coach, 10K. Social skills and networking courses, 1K. Boxing coaches, because I remember I wanted to become a professional fighter, 1K. And now I know so much about business that I would have never known about. Like how to run automations, text automations, how to open up an email campaign, and platforms like GHL and MailChimp. And you know how long it would have taken my dumbass to figure that shit out by myself? I probably never would have figured it out. I probably would have went on this venture, not made those choices to self-invest, and failed in business and failed myself. I'm so fucking happy I made that decision. Like, I've been so happy coming from where I was, 9 to 5, stressed the fuck out, depressed, socially anxious, to now, like, it's all just hitting me now. It's crazy because I'm making this video right now for you guys, but now that I'm actually talking about it, all these like feelings are just coming up out of nowhere. It's so crazy, so fucking crazy. Anyways, with these programs, it was more than just knowledge that I was paying for. It was structure. They gave me structure. It was them critiquing my bad habits. It was them showing me what they've learned over the course of their lifetime in a few hours. It's like reading a book. All I did was pay someone to make me better. I had to let go of my ego. The ego gets in the way so fucking hard, and it makes you think, okay, maybe I can do this. You know, maybe I don't have to do that and self-invest. I can actually learn this by myself. Bro, you've been doing that the past 4 or 5 fucking years. You're never gonna learn. It's being in that place where I had to let go of my ego and feeling special. I mean, it's scary to do that. And you feel like a failure. You really do feel like a failure. But I also knew that feeling of feeling like a failure was way better than being unhappy and staying in that 9 to 5 life that I hated so much. Because what's life if you can't be happy? That was my mentality. And I also knew that this is part of the journey. Like, I understood that you're gonna fail. You know, I watch so much motivational shit all the time. David Goggins, Andrew Tate. You know, I watch all that shit. It really is part of the journey. And it really is that part where you're the superhero and you're dealing with all the failures if you just got beaten. You know, right now you're in that training era where you're getting ready to beat that supervillain because you're the superhero. So I had to come inside because my camera was overheating a little bit. Just came inside real quick. But really, to sum up the video, do I think self-investing into like mentors and courses and just investing into yourself for self-improvement is worth it? Fuck yes. Especially if you have no game plan, you don't really know where to go in life, you're confused, you have no knowledge. I would definitely say this is one of the better investments you can make to start moving forward in your own life. One last point that I wanted to make is there's good investments and investing into yourself in a good way, and there's bad investments in a bad way. And if you're not doing one, you're doing the other. Stuff like spending money on alcohol, going clubbing and partying, which is always going to be there. I'm not saying it's bad, but it's always going to be there. Stuff like buying cars, which is only going to cause temporary happiness for a month. Buying new shoes, buying clothes. I mean, not to go overboard, but, you know, time, too. How are you investing your time? Is it like video games, spending hours on it, social media? Like, all that kind of stuff is doing is just hiding the fact of how you truly feel and achieving what you really want to achieve in life. Even girlfriends can halt people from, finding their true happiness and becoming who they want to become. Crazy thing is I actually get a lot of people who break up with their girlfriends or their girlfriends break up with them, and then that kind of like started that spark to reach out to me and join my coaching programs. Anyways, that's the end of the video. I really hope this gives you guys some kind of clarity whether or not you should start investing into yourself. And I'm going to continue making these kinds of videos instead of like the fitness boring shit. Maybe I'll do fitness stuff like here and there, but this is the shit that I like talking about. And I'm trying to find a group of people who are like-minded like me, and I want to build a community of people so that way we can just help each other grow. One last thing though, I want to keep this video as authentic as possible, so I don't want to kind of ruin it. But you guys, if you really need help with losing weight, getting fit, click the link below. We'll schedule a call and we can come up with a game plan together to get you to your goals.